Welcome to Open Mic Night at Great River Arts. My name is Byron Nelson. I'm your host for the evening. Uh, we got a few more people than what we had before, different, genre, so it should be a great evening. So the first act that we're going to have, well, actually not the first, but it'll be the second because I consider myself the first one. Isn't that right, Haven? So, with that, Haven, you're the second act. Haven, you're going to do singing.
Yep. I'm ready. Well, by sheep, we watch at night. Grass hide and sprout, an angel bright. How great, how joy, how great, how joy. Joy, 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 joy. Raise the Lord in heaven on high. Raise the Lord in heaven on high.
Well, thank you, Haven. Truly appreciate that.
Okay, I just want to tell you that when I was a little girl, I spent a lot of Saturdays and Sundays at the movie theaters in northern Wisconsin, in Ashland, back when it was safe to walk a mile or so to the movie theaters. And the only movies back then were musicals or war movies. And I would cry my heart out, probably at both, because I was just right there with whatever was on film. And I just developed a real emotion to our World War II soldiers. I had 3 younger brothers, and I was just a little girl, but I would just hope that they wouldn't have to go to war. Please, God, don't let them have to go to war. And when I read this, it was eye-opening to me because I didn't know that there are intelligent people in this country that look down on our military. And I'm just going to read you a letter that a man, I'm hoping it's going to stay here for me. This man wrote a letter about what happened to him. It's an article. He is an author himself. His name is Frank Schaeffer. It's a well-written article about a father who put several of his kids through expensive colleges, but one son wanted to be a Marine. Interesting observation by this dad. A very interesting commentary that says a lot about our failing and fallen society. Before my son became a Marine, I never thought much about who was defending me. Now when I read of the war on terrorism or the coming conflict in Iraq, it cuts to my heart. When I see a picture of a member of our military who has been killed, I read his or her name very carefully. Sometimes I cry. In 1999, when the barrel-chested Marine recruiter showed up in dress blues and bedazzled my son John, I did not stand in the way. John was headstrong, and he seemed to understand these stern, clean men with straight backs and flawless uniforms. I did not. I live in the Volvo-driving, higher education worshiping North Shore of Boston. I write novels for a living. I've never served in the military. It had been hard enough sending my 2 older children off to Georgetown and New York University. John's enlisting was unexpected, so it was deeply unsettling. I did not relish the prospect of answering the question, "So where is John going to college?" from the parents who were itching to tell me about how their son or daughter was going to Harvard. At the private high school John attended, no other students were going into the military. But aren't the Marines terribly Southern? Says a lot about open-mindedness in the Northeast, asked one perplexed mother while standing next to me at the brunch following graduation. What a waste, he was such a good student, said another parent. One parent, a professor at a nearby and rather famous university, spoke up at a school meeting and suggested that the school should carefully evaluate what went wrong. When John graduated from 3 months of boot camp on Parris Island, 3,000 parents and friends were on the parade deck stands. We parents and our Marines not only were of many races, but also were representative of many economic classes. Many were poor. Some arrived crammed in the backs of pickups, others by bus. John told me that a lot of the parents could not afford the trip. We in the audience were white and Native American. We were Hispanic, Arab, and African American, and Asian. We were former Marines wearing the scars of battle, or at least baseball caps emblazoned with the battle's names. We were Southern whites from Nashville, and skinheads from New Jersey, black kids from Cleveland, wearing ghetto rags and white ex-cons with ham-hock forearms defaced by jailhouse tattoos. We would not have been mistaken for the educated and well-heeled parents gathered on the lawns of John's private school a year or a half year before. After graduation, one new Marine told John, "Before I was a Marine, if I'd ever seen you on my block, I would have probably killed you just because you were standing there." This was a serious statement from one of John's good friends, a black ex-gang member from Detroit, who, as John said, would die for me now, just like I'd die for him. My son has connected me to my country in a way that I was too selfish and insular to experience before. I feel closer to the waitress at our local diner than to some of my closest friends. She has 2 sons in the Corps. They are facing the same dangers as my boy. When the guy who fixes my car asks me how John is doing, I know he means it. His younger brother is in the Navy. Why were I and the other parents at my son's private school so surprised by his choice? During World War II, the sons and daughters of the most powerful and educated families did their bit. If the idea of the immorality of the Vietnam War was the only reason those lucky enough to go to college dodged the draft, why did we not encourage our children to volunteer for military service once that war was done? Have we wealthy and educated Americans all become pacifists? Is the world a safe place? Or have we just gotten used to having somebody else defend us? What's the future of our democracy when the sons and daughters of the janitors at our elite universities are far more likely to be put in harm's way than are any of the students whose dorms their parents clean? I feel shame because it took my sons joining the Marine Corps to make me take notice of who is defending me. I feel hope because perhaps my son is part of a future greatest generation. As the storm clouds of war gather, at least I know I can look the men and women in uniform in the eye. My son is one of them. He is the best I have to offer. John is my heart. Oh, how I wish so many of our younger generations could read this article. It makes me so sad to hear the way they talk with no respect for what their fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers experienced, so they can live in freedom. Freedom has been replaced with freedom. Please pass this on.
Thank you, Jerry. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. The next performer up here, James, it's time for you and your bucket to come up here and perform.
The subject was, into every life, a little humor must fall. And my wife was made me feel so confident, because she said, you ought to get out on the stage. And I said, well, I feel pretty good about that, And then she said, well, there's one leaving in about 5 minutes. So. But let's see. Oh, thought I lost my sense of humor. But, I used to be attract large crowds as a comedian. And I had big crowds going on in big auditoriums. And, but I started losing audience members. And it got so that there was ambulances and hearses lined up out there because I was killing them with laughter, and then I'd just lose my job that way. I mean, so as my sense of humor here, oh yes, question for you people, especially those who are interested in music. Have you ever heard of the Canon Factory? They manufacture some really sophisticated musical instruments. And they're located, I think, in the western part of the United States. And they're known for really intricate instruments that are really kind of difficult to play. And one of them, of course, is the drums. And it's so convoluted that very few people can figure out how to play it. Of course, it's called a conundrum. Hopefully some of you people get that. And then there was a fellow who grew up in a small town, and kind of like Little Falls, and he went away to become a doctor. But before he left, he was old enough to go into the local bar and order drinks, but then he decided he wanted to become a doctor, so he left town, went to a big university, graduated, and became a doctor like he had always kind of wanted to do. And he was gone probably about 20 years from getting back to his old hometown. And he thought, well, I'm going to go back there and see if I recognize anybody, see if anybody recognizes me. And so he got back there to his town, and he walked into the bar, and he just thought, oh, well, hey, that's that same bartender. I wonder if he'd ever recognize me now. I got a beard, so he got up to the bar and sat down on the chair there, and here comes the bartender, and he says, "Hickory dackory dock." He knew, he was a doctor, and he knew that the guy had ordered. Oh, I forgot about that part. He always liked having daiquiris, of course, with a hickory nut. Oh, that's a groaner. So I better look at this thing here a little bit more. And, oh, yes, I got, let's see, a couple more here. There was a fellow whose name was Odd. And there actually is people with that kind of a name. But this fellow, as a little kid, of course, he was in the school, and he got bullied, and he hated his name. Everybody was calling him Odd. And he tested that name. And as he graduated from school and he got older, and he tested that name, and he hated it, and he thought, son, I got to get rid of this someday. I can't stand it. Well, he got older and older. He never did change his name. But he thought he got to the end of his life, and he thought that, you know what, I'm going to do something yet. I'm going to make sure that nobody knows who I am. So he had a headstone made up, and when he died, they put that headstone there in the graveyard, and it just had the date of his birth and the date of the death. No other name. And people would come walking by, and they'd see just the dates, there, and they'd look down and they'd say to one another, well, isn't that odd? Oh, okay. All right, groaners. All right. Well, then, of course, there's the story about Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. And Roy Rogers had just recently bought a new pair of shoes, had shined them up really nice, had put them out on the porch, and just to set them out there because his closet was full. He had so many things, so many shoes and boots, and so one morning he came out and noticed that his new pair of shoes was all torn up, bitten and torn up, and he saw some mountain lion tracks coming up to the house, and so he went and he got his gun, and he headed out, and he said, Dale, I'm going out, I'm going to go after that mountain lion. Well, it was a while back. It took a while, and he was gone probably 5 or 6 hours, and then he starts heading back, and he's getting close to the house now. And Dale Evans sees him out there, and so she goes out on the house and out on the porch, and she calls out to Roy Rogers and says, "Hey, Roy, is that the cat that chewed your new shoes?" Oh, you got to know that song. Now, you young kids don't know that song. Okay, and you know how to tell when someone's lying. They say they say, "Oh man, am I on a big pickle?" Well, you know that there's no pickle growing that big that you can fit somebody into a big pickle. So they're obviously lying anyway. So, but oh yes, one last thing. Do you know how funeral is spelled? Funeral. And when you go to a funeral, isn't it really true that you go in there and all the relatives and their friends there, and they're all laughing and having a good time? So the only poor guy is not having fun is the guy that's in the casket. Otherwise, everybody's having fun at the funeral. Funeral. So at any rate, I suppose you're wondering why I brought this bucket up here, and I just thought, if anybody was really going to get at me and throw some rotten tomatoes, I didn't want to be unprepared. So my wife was wondering what I had in this bucket.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. That's wow.
I don't know if I do need a mic. I think maybe I can do this without having a mic. I'm very shy, so mics kind of frighten me. But anyway, I have a little number that maybe I can improvise here a little bit with, if it's okay.
Well, it's got to be family friendly, Betty.
I'm trying to be family friendly.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little number that comes from Sweet Charity. I don't know if any of you know of Man from U.N.C.L.E. That Man from U.N.C.L.E. happened to be my nephew. And his mother sang this song from Sweet Charity on Broadway for years and years and years. And the number is called If My Friends Could See Me Now. Okay. Last night at 8, you should have seen a chauffeur pulled up in a rented limousine. My neighbors burned, they like to die when they found out who was getting in, and going out was I. If they could see me now, that little gang of mine. I'm eating fancy foods and drinking fancy wine. I tell those stumble bums to see for a fact the kind of top drawer, first-rate chums I attract. All I can say is, wow, we look at where I am. Tonight I landed, pow, right in a jar of jam. What a setup, holy cow. They'd never believe it if my friends could see me now.
Thank you much. Wow. Again, Betty, thank you. Thank you. That was super.
Rolling down my window, skate across the road. Where am I going? Does anyone know? Music loud like thunder, feel it in my bones. No one will notice. I'm not home, I'm not home, not home. You could be beside me, I'd still be alone. I quit pretending long ago, standing in the shadow. Well, it's all I know. No one will notice. I'm not home, I'm not home. Not home. Well, I'm not at home anymore. Well, I'm not where I belong. Well, I'm not at home anymore. Won't someone please say I'm wrong? So don't try to find me, you're wasting time. I've gone for a reason, should have seen them signs. If I ever come back, it's to get mine. But as for now, down the oh. Well, I'm not at home anymore. I'm not where I belong. I'm not at home anymore. Won't someone please say I'm wrong? Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong. Thanks, guys. All right, this is another super duper new song. This one's called Down Below. Here we go again. I'm the last one in. You can see my sins. I wear them on my skin. I thought you didn't know. I thought you'd set me so. Yeah, tell me where to go. Back down below. Back down below. As far as you can go. Gone like the snow. Yeah, last I can be at home. Staring in the mirror, the end is seeming near, but I don't have the fear. I'll take it out of here. I thought you didn't know. I thought you'd set me so. And tell me where to go. Back down below. Back down below. As far as you can go. Gone like the snow. Yes, I can be at home. Back down below. Back down below. Back down below. Thanks, guys. I keep on forgetting I can't like step away from this mic. I want to so bad because I want to just jam, you know. Oh wait, I need that. All right, this one's called Something in the Water. It's about an irrational fear of what's in the water, you know. And I don't mean like, you know, that stuff they give you for your teeth that shuts off your pineal gland and all that other hippie stuff. I'm talking about like seaweed and crap. That's the real scary stuff. All right. Something in the water, something in the water. Never learned to swim. Something in the water, something in the water. When I felt you touch my side, I guess it's a good day to die. Nowhere running night, take me back to the ocean side. Take me away with the tide. Something in the water, something in the water. Never learned to swim. Something in the water, something in the water. When my lungs tasted you, I didn't know what to do. Trapped like a fly on glue. Won't you help me make it through? Pull me down by my shoe. Some in the water, some in the water, some in the water, something some in the water. Thanks, guys. All right, this last one I'm going to do with Mr. Jesse Eugene. I mean, I don't know about Mr., but. He's just going to chill back there, I guess. This one's called I'm Dead. Well, real devil with an angel's touch. Black lips don't speak too much. She'll get you in a minute, get you in a second if you're doing her wrong. Well, I knew I shouldn't, but I took the chance. Temptation from just one glance. She got me in a minute, got me in a second. Where did I go wrong? What did I think? What happened to me? She took my heart, made it 3. I'm dead. I drank a poison willingly. Now my heart is stopped beating. I'm dead. I see now I'm dead. Top hat with a man below. Perfect notes coming from his bow. He'll get you in a second, get you in a minute if you hear his song. Wait, I knew I shouldn't, but I took the chance. The devil's music, I had to dance. He got me in a minute, got me in a second. I loved his song. What did I think? What happened to me? He took my heart 6 times 3 on there. My ears open willingly. Now my soul's no longer free. I'm there. I see you. Now I'm there. So dead. Hey, thanks, guys.
Pick was annoying me. It sounded weird. The ocean of blue has slowly turned to gray. It's just a distant memory. The time fades away. The island of green sparkle like a jewel, and in my distant memory, you were such a fool. The ocean of blue it slowly turned to gray. It's just a distant memory. Time fades away. I might need it for this though. What's that one that get restless, won't you take me home? You leave me standing out in the rain. And I got nothing. You know I won't complain. 'Cause I get restless, I get reckless. Oh, won't you take me home?
Hey, thanks. That's the first time we've ever played that. All right, fair enough.
I get the feeling that you like living alone. It's alright, alright. I get the feeling you're gonna be on your own. It's alright, it's alright. You're just trying too hard. It's alright. You're just thinking too much. I bought you dinner with loose change I found in the bed. It's alright, alright. You got me thinking I'm a little bit wrong in the head. It's alright, it's alright. Just trying too hard. It's alright. You're just thinking too much. The feeling you like living alone. It's alright, alright. I get the feeling you're gonna be on your own. It's alright, it's alright. You're just trying too hard. it's alright. Just thinking too much.
Thanks.
Don't fan that fire, boy, you're gonna make the flame too hot. Well, all my life you can tell me nice, yeah, I'm not gonna stop. I've been a misfit with red, sleeping in a good bed, living like a modern man. I got a worn-out hot tops, I'm walking on the blacktop, looking like the son of Sam. And I'm trying to fit in. I've been trying to fit in. Don't fan that fire, you're gonna make the flame too hot. Well, all my life you can tell me twice, I'm not gonna stop. I'm a misfit, well-read, sleeping in a good bed, living like a modern man. I like singing the gospel, playing in a hostel, playing with the good old band. And I'm trying to fit in. I've been trying to fit in.
Thanks. I think that really might be it. But we appreciate it.